What is going on, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to the channel. If you are a diehard fan of the Dallas Cowboys, you might want to sit down for this because what is developing right now could shake the entire NFL landscape. I'm talking about a potential move that, if finalized, would go down as one of the boldest and most aggressive decisions this franchise has made in decades. Before we get into every angle of this story, every rumor, every ripple effect, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications because with the off-season heating up, things are moving fast and you do not want to miss a single update. Let's get straight to it. Multiple reports and insider whispers are pointing towards serious discussions between the Cowboys front office and representatives connected to none other than Jalen Ramsey. Yes, that Jalen Ramsey, one of the most dominant defensive backs of this generation. And before anyone panics in the comments, let's clear this up right now. Ramsey is a cornerback, not a quarterback, and he has built his reputation by locking down the very best receivers in football. The idea that he could be wearing a star on his helmet next season is sending shockwaves across the league. For those who may need a refresher, Ramsey entered the NFL as the 5th overall pick in the 2016 draft with the Jacksonville Jaguars. From day one, he played with swagger, confidence, and a level of physicality that set him apart. He didn't just cover receivers, he erased them. Over the years, whether it was in Jacksonville or later during his Super Bowl run with the Los Angeles Rams, Ramsey consistently proved he could travel with a team's #1 option and completely disrupt a game plan. Multiple Pro Bowl nods, All-Pro selections, and the reputation as a shutdown corner followed him everywhere. Now imagine plugging that kind of talent into a Cowboys secondary that has shown flashes but has struggled with consistency. When healthy, Trevon Diggs has been a turnover machine. We all remember the season he led the league in interceptions, taking risks and flipping games on their heads. But the Cowboys have often lacked that true lockdown presence on the opposite side, someone who can take the opponent's top weapon out of the equation snap after snap. That is exactly what Ramsey specializes in. And here's where things get even more interesting. The Cowboys, led by Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones, have not traditionally been known for massive splash trades in recent years. They have leaned heavily on the draft, on developing talent internally, on managing the cap carefully. So if they are indeed pushing hard to land Ramsey, that signals something bigger. It signals urgency. It signals a front office that believes the championship window is wide open right now and that standing still is no longer an option. Let's talk about that window. Dak Prescott is firmly in his prime. CeeDee Lamb is one of the most explosive receivers in the league. And on defense, Micah Parsons has already established himself as a game-wrecking force. When you have that kind of core, you cannot afford to waste seasons. You cannot keep falling short in the playoffs and hope things magically change. At some point, you have to push your chips to the center of the table. Trading for a player like Ramsey is exactly that kind of move. From a schematic standpoint, the impact would be massive. Defensive coordinators dream about having a chess piece like Ramsey. He can line up outside and press, he can slide into the slot, he can drop back as a safety in certain packages, he can come downhill and support the run. His versatility would allow the Cowboys to disguise coverages, confuse quarterbacks, and take more calculated risks. Offenses would have to identify where Ramsey is pre-snap on every single play. That alone changes how they call games. Now think about the ripple effect. If Ramsey is shadowing a team's #1 receiver, Diggs can play more freely. Instead of always being tasked with the toughest assignment, he can read the quarterback's eyes, jump routes, and hunt interceptions. That is when Diggs is at his most dangerous. And when coverage tightens on the back end, what happens up front? Quarterbacks hold the ball longer. That extra half second is all Micah Parsons needs to explode off the edge and create chaos. Coverage and pass rush work together, improve one, and you amplify the other. Of course, there are questions. There always are. Ramsey has dealt with injuries in recent seasons, including knee issues that kept him sidelined. That is a fair concern. But when healthy, he remains one of the smartest and most technically sound corners in football. The Cowboys' medical and training staff would have to be confident in his condition before committing serious assets. And from everything circulating, this is not a reckless move. It is calculated. Then there is the financial aspect. Ramsey commands elite money. The salary cap is real. But the Cowboys have been restructuring deals, creating flexibility, and positioning themselves for a potential splash. Spreading cap hits over multiple years, converting salary to bonuses, and carefully managing extensions can make a deal like this workable. It is not easy, but it is far from impossible. Let's zoom out to the NFC landscape. The Philadelphia Eagles are still loaded. The San Francisco 49ers remain a powerhouse. The Detroit Lions have emerged as a legitimate contender. To get through that gauntlet, you need a defense that can stand toe-to-toe with elite offenses. You need corners who can survive on islands. Ramsey gives you that. Picture a playoff matchup against Philadelphia. Ramsey lines up across from their top wideout. Diggs takes the other side. Parsons is screaming off the edge. Suddenly, what was once a concern becomes a strength. Suddenly, the Cowboys are dictating terms instead of reacting. Beyond the X's and O's, there is a mentality shift that comes with a player like Ramsey. He plays with edge. He talks. He competes. He thrives in big moments. That kind of energy can be contagious in a locker room. Championship teams often have that alpha presence on both sides of the ball. Ramsey brings that on defense. And let's be honest, Cowboys Nation is hungry. It has been decades since the franchise hoisted a Lombardi trophy. The last championship run in the mid-90s feels like ancient history to a generation of fans. Every offseason brings hope. Every season ends with heartbreak. A move like this would not guarantee a Super Bowl, but it would send a clear message. The Cowboys are done playing it safe. Now, imagine the optics on opening night if this deal gets done. Ramsey stepping onto the field with the star on his helmet, cameras flashing, analysts debating whether Dallas just assembled the most dangerous defense in football. The pressure would be enormous, but so would the excitement. At the end of the day, this potential move is about ambition. It is about recognizing that windows close quickly in the NFL. It is about understanding that talent wins in January. And it is about whether the Cowboys are willing to be bold in pursuit of greatness. So, I want to hear from you. If this trade becomes reality, do you believe it pushes the Cowboys over the top? Are you comfortable with the draft capital and cap implications it might require? Or do you think the team should stay patient and build from within? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this is one of those moments that could define the next chapter of Cowboys football. If the front office pulls this off, we may look back on this offseason as the turning point. The moment the Dallas Cowboys decided good was not good enough. The moment they chose aggression over caution. The moment they went all in. Make sure you like this video if you're fired up about the possibility of Jalen Ramsey in Dallas. Subscribe if you haven't already because we are tracking every update as this story develops. Cowboys Nation, buckle up. This offseason just went to another level, and if this deal crosses the finish line, the rest of the NFL better be ready. I'll see you in the next one.